In Acts chapter 12, verse 5 to 11, Acts 12, verse 5 to 11, there is this very interesting story that tells you the best of bodyguards cannot protect you against spiritual invader. Even when your doors are well locked, security doors of the highest degree, they put Peter in prison. An angel walked through. The people who was watching, they were dead asleep. The doors opened on their own accord. So you think you are secure because your house had a mighty wall around it. The wall had all manners of electric wire barbs on it. Can all those stop witches and wizards from coming? So you ask, how dare you sleep in a storm? I'm sure if you meet Elijah in heaven, you probably want to sit him down and ask him. I see every child of God should learn a lesson from this. Don't kill yourself trying to protect yourself. The only protection is from God. David said in Psalm 4 verse 8, he said, I sleep in peace because only God makes me dwell in safety. Safety is of the Lord. Psalm 119 verse 165. Psalm 119 verse 165 said, great peace have they which love thy law. Nothing shall offend them. Philippians chapter 4 verse 6 to 7. Philippians 4, 6 to 7 tells you there is a peace of God that passes all understanding. Why are you worrying? Why are you worrying? Because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Isaiah chapter 3 verse 10 makes it clear. Isaiah chapter 3 verse 10. Say ye to the righteous, he shall be well with him. If you're a child of God, your tomorrow will be all right. Philippians 1 verse 6. Philippians 1 verse 6 says it clearly. He that started the good works in you will complete the job. Stop worrying, child of God. Oh, there's all bad news all over. Every time you open the television, you hear news that would frighten you. In the olden days, when there's any problem in town, people run to the army barracks to be safe. Now the army barracks itself needs protection. Whoever heard of even robbers or thieves going to the palace? It's an abomination. But now they don't go to the palace to steal. They go to the palace to kidnap the one who is supposed to be second in command to the idol. But when you are a child of God, safety is of the Lord. Horses are prepared for the day of war, but safety is of the Lord. Relax. Hebrews chapter 9 verse 27. Hebrews 9 verse 27 made it clear. It is appointed unto man once to die, only once. Until that time comes, nobody can kill you. David said in Psalm 31 verse 15, Psalm 31 verse 15 said, my time are in your hand, O Lord. Put your time in his hand and relax. Follow Jesus' example in Mark chapter 4, verse 35 to 41. Mark 4, 35 to 41. There was a storm. What did he do? He slept. He's our commander-in-chief. He's our leader. He slept. Why did he sleep? He knows the end from the beginning. Why? Because Revelation chapter 1 verse 8, Revelation 1 verse 8 says he's the Alpha and the Omega. He knows the end from the beginning. Whether you believe it or not, God knows how you are going to end. And in Hebrews chapter 13 verse 5, Hebrews 13 verse 5, he has promised, I will never leave you nor forsake you. I know you will say, oh, maybe you are saying this because you've never experienced a storm. Oh, I have. Physical and spiritual. All manners of storm. I've told you the story of my first cruise. Some of my children said you must rest, so they bought me a ticket to go on a cruise. I've told you the best place to holiday is on a cruise. They rejoice in overfeeding you. In the ship, I think there were about 24 restaurants, and you don't need any pass to enter. Once you're on the boat, you can eat in all the 24 restaurants in that day if you want to. They even have special buffet for midnight. Oh, I enjoyed myself. I ate. Everything was good until a storm came. And the storm took that massive boat and tossed it up 2 stories high and then dropped it. And everything was scattering all over the place. Things got so bad, the captain called us together and said, don't worry, there are 12 categories of storms, beginning from category 1. Don't worry, we are only in category 10. Hey, so just go to your cabin and stay calm. I got to my cabin, I said, God, what am I doing here? What can I do now, Lord? And God said to me, when I was in the world and there was a storm, what did I do? I said, you slept. Sleep. I jumped on my bed. Within 2 minutes, I was gone. By the time I woke up, we were already by land. The storm ended. I didn't even know when. Relax, my brother. Relax, my sister. God is in control. There is no storm that can sink the boat in which the Prince of Peace is sitting down. Isaiah chapter 9 verse 6. Isaiah chapter 9 verse 6 tells us that his name is the Prince of Peace. If Jesus is in the boat of your life, it cannot sink. But Elijah had been in a storm before. That's probably one of the reasons why he slept. Because in 1 Kings chapter 18, from verse 7 to 18, 1 Kings chapter 18, from verse 7 to 18, he came face to face with Ahab, who said, hey, I found you. You are the one that have been troubling Israel. I've been searching for you all these days. Now, here you are. But he knew God was on his side. He just looked at the king and said, I'm not the one troubling Israel. You are the one troubling Israel. And the king couldn't touch him. When you know that God has stilled storms before, either for you or for someone you know, you should relax. Because whatever he had done before, he can do it again. For example, in 2 Kings chapter 5 from verse 1 to 14, 2 Kings 5, 1 to 14, he cleansed Naaman a leper. That's why in Matthew chapter 8, verse 1 to 3, Matthew 8, 1 to 3, when the leper came to him, he said, I know you can do it. You've done it before. And he did it. Another fellow that we found sleeping in a storm is our friend Peter. Acts chapter 12, from verse 5 to 11. Acts 12, 5 to 11. He knew that they were going to kill him the following morning, but he slept. And an angel came and set him free. How could Peter be sleeping in a storm? Because in Acts chapter 5, from verse 16 to 29, Acts 5, 16 to 29, he had been in prison before. An angel had come before to set him free. The God who did it before will do it again. If Jesus is in your boat cannot sink. Because I have been in a storm before, and I know it doesn't change. It's the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. When I had that, after that first storm, there have been others. But I wasn't moved. I told you the story. I was going to London, and somebody bought me a ticket in first class. And as we were just settling down in the air, just served us food, the pilot came and said, ladies and gentlemen, the weather boys tell us that by the time we get to Heathrow, there's going to be a big storm. But don't worry, we will manage to land. The fellow who was sitting next to me froze. He couldn't touch his food. I just smiled. I finished my food. I turned to him. I said, sir, you are not eating. He was surprised. He thought I didn't understand English. He said, you heard what the captain said? I said, yes. So I turned to him again. You're not eating? He said, no. I was young then and hungry, The food they give you in economy is not enough for a hungry young man. You're not eating? He said, no. Can I help you? He said, yes. I gave me his tray and I gave him my empty tray. I finished his food and went to sleep. We got to Heathrow. And the captain came on and said, ladies and gentlemen, we're very sorry. The weather boys deceived us. The storm is going to be in Scotland, not in London. I looked at my neighbor. He looked at me. And the two of us began to laugh. He couldn't get his food back. But he was laughing out of relief. You've eaten my food, no problem. But at least we're going to land safely. If there's any storm in your life, remember, God had stilled storms before. He will do it again.